Hello, everyone. My name is MJ, and I am going to be talking about some TV shows and movies that I've liked this week. Now, I'm bringing a bit of my podcast to you guys, and I thought I'd do it in a more podcast style here on YouTube. Some of you guys probably know me from my YouTube short where I do quick 15-second, 30-second reviews on TV shows, movies, trailers, music videos that I've watched during the week, and I love those and I love doing those. But there is something about talking in this type of format where I can connect with you guys on a more deeper and intimate level, and I love that. I love that for us. Now, yes, you're probably like, what podcast are you talking about? Well, I do have a podcast with my friend PK, and me and her, yes, our pronouns and she and her. We are do podcasts on Spotify, really anywhere where you get your podcast, called We Binged It, and we talk about all of the TV shows and movies and everything under the sun that we've binged that week, that we've dabbled in. While here, I think I'm going to take some time and talk about the shows that I really love. I really spend time in enjoying the characters, the storyline, the character development. While over there on the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, I talk about, my personal life, the person that I've lost in 2022. I talk about, I go in a bit deeper into a lot of things where I can't do that here on YouTube, and I can still do it here on YouTube. But I thought, again, bring a little bit of the podcast to you guys, but not everything. So if you still want to know all of the TV shows and everything, all the movies and stuff that I've binged that week, do check out the pod. If you want to know what I'm up to on a day-to-day, what I'm feeling this week, check out the pod, things like that. So going into the TV shows and movies, and I do have my notes here, and if I'm looking on my phone, if I'm looking on the mic, I'm making sure that this mic is on. And also, I'm always looking at the phone just to make sure that I get everything that I want to get in this first mini podcast episode, a little glimpse. And so we binged it. I don't know. Well, we'll see. So the first show or movie actually that I do want to talk about, it's called Luther, the Fallen Son. So this movie is kind of interesting to me because I don't know why they're continuing the franchise. However, I love Luther, the TV show. Luther kind of reminds me of the Netflix TV show, The Killings. You guys know what I'm talking about. Luther is played by Idris Elba, my future husband. He doesn't know yet. He doesn't know yet. But I love him to death, and I love his career. It's really interesting to me as to why they're doing this when it comes to this particular franchise. There must be a huge cult following. Just how The Killing, which some of my favorite actors ever, Joel Kinnaman and Mireille Enes, you all know who I'm talking about. I'll try and bring up their pictures up on the screen, so you guys can see, instead of me trying to edit this, it might be looking crazy. So these are the people who played in The Killing, and then we all know who Idris Elba is. But for those who have been living under a rock and don't know who Idris Elba is, well, I'll tell you that it is Idris Elba, baby. Yeah. So we have Luther. So it's interesting because in the past 5 or so, in the last decade, I've been really into British TV shows. The way British TV shows kind of cast their characters is pretty incredible. And I would say American Canadian actors should take upon them, American Canadian production companies and directors should take it upon themselves to look across the lake, okay, across the sea, because honestly, UK TV shows have been beyond their time. So I came across Luther TV show on Netflix. So it's Luther, the movie Luther the Fallen Son, which is coming out in the next week. I've already watched it here in theaters, but it's coming out on Netflix on March 3rd. Is based on a TV show called Luther, which is still on Netflix. And they ended, I think, after 5 or 6 seasons. And the reason why I love it so much is because it's really based on a really strong black character. So here's the thing. Here's the thing when it comes to UK TV shows that I love so much. UK production companies, even the TV shows that I've watched anyway, and the movies that I've watched, have done such an amazing job at really casting black and brown characters just as another character, not as a token, not to diversify their cast, not for whatever. And I'm sure they made it they did it in an intentional way, right? They probably want to make sure that the cast is diverse, but they don't make that character, that black or brown racialized character, Asian character, whoever it is, they don't not have that character be necessary to a plot or to a storyline, okay? They make it very, very intentional as to why and how that character will be playing a role, and usually a significant role, in the plot and storyline or into another character's development. So I love that. So in UK TV shows, in my opinion, they do such an amazing job in making sure that the racialized character is just a character. The race is not a thing unless the whole focal point of the show is based on race. The issues are based on race, but it's just another black man, another black man, another black woman, another Asian girl, a girl who loves to play sport, who just happens to be Asian, a guy who's an incredible detective and just happens to be black. So race is usually not touched upon in Luther, and I love that, because here's the thing: when we talk about diversifying the cast, somebody made a comment about it on one of my videos, and they said that, I was reviewing a TV show where they paired up a Asian woman with a white woman on a TV show, which is great, which is fine. But the thing is, that pairing didn't work well, right? There was no new banter. There wasn't interesting storyline. It wasn't anything new. In fact, the relationship was boring and it was awkward at times. So it was hard for me as a consumer, as a watcher, to continue to watch it. So I was like, no, there was no point of them putting another this white character, because the main focal point, the main point of view, was the Asian detective in that TV show. So I said it made sense for them to pair up another Asian or very similar character to that main Asian character. So, but that is different, but their banter or the relationship or connection is either exciting, entertaining, new. It has to be one of those three. If not, it's a cliche, and it's based off of every other detective pairings in history. There's so many detective shows. Yours has to be different, and this is where Luther comes in different, right? Luther, a strong, independent, dark-skinned, intelligent black man on TV. Let me say this again. And I want you to name the characters. And I would say a lot of Tyler Perry characters, a lot of characters on Stars. The network Stars do this. A lot of characters are now a lot of platforms and streaming platforms have now started to bring strong black-brown leads to the screen. But Luther was ahead of its time, because Luther is played by Idris Elba, a detective, a brilliant detective, a sought-after detective. The way he sees details and things in a crime scene like no other. Independent, strong morals, good character, interesting personality, funny, intelligent, who just happens to be black. His race was never a focal point in his character development. He's just a black man who dates all different types of women. Yes, he dated a psychopath eventually. He dated a serial killer, but his original partner was a biracial woman. But his race was never a focal point. So for me, growing up, seeing that type of character, where you see a character that is extremely well developed. I say that word. I feel like I'm saying that word completely wrong. I don't know why, but I feel like my brother's in my ear telling me, "MJ, that's not how you say developed, whatever. Developed." And a character that is also extremely flawed, but still relatable. A man who's very good at his job, gives everything at his job, very passionate at his job, but has a horrible love life and doesn't have hobbies outside of life, which honestly is me. It's me. That's me. So, working on the passionate career and all, but it's really relatable. So I loved that in Luther. I loved the fact that we were able to see a character like that on television, because growing up, especially over the last decade, we didn't really see a lot of that. We see Viola Davis and How to Get Away with Murder on Netflix really break that ceiling of a dark-skinned black woman who just happens to be a brilliant attorney and a brilliant professor who just happens to be black. Her race was a big... Now, difference is her race did play a big part into who she is and who she was as an attorney, as a young black woman, and it was talked about in the show. But going back to Luther, I really love the TV show. So now I hear that they're creating another movie. I think this is the second or third Luther movie from the TV show franchise, I believe. So you have this movie and it's him basically solving a murder. There's no love interest. Okay. So he's stuck in his life, which he loves, solving murders. And the serial killer actually puts him in jail. It wasn't a big explanation as to why he was put in jail, but he was put in jail. And then he had to escape from jail. And break all sorts of rules to find the serial killer. And he ended up doing that. And he's brilliant and he's selfless and he's so compassionate. But the way he goes about it, may break certain morals and beliefs. But he's so compassionate when it comes to his victims and children. And the new DCI chief, which used to be his longtime colleague and now friend, is a black woman. So DCI chief just happens to be black. Her race isn't a focal point. So I love the way the people in the show, just when it comes to the casting, not only is Luther has power and authority, the DCI chief, who's just happens to be black woman, has power and authority, but not in an awkward way, not in any stereotypical black way. It's just, they're just a person of authority. You know what I mean? They have this power. Luther has this power to solve crimes. And the DCI chief has the power to put Luther down. So I loved Luther. It was a thriller because you have the excitement of wanting to know not who the serial killer is, because it's always the who, but why they're doing what they do and how is Luther going to catch them this time. So it's always why and how. Those are always two questions when it comes to the Luther solving crimes. Sometimes it's who, and usually in detective series and all detective TV shows, it's usually who is doing this. That is always hidden until the very end, but we know who this time. So it was even more exciting because it was different, because we know who it is. We don't know why they're doing it, and we don't know how Luther is going to catch the person, because Luther does end up catching the killer. And it was fun and exciting watching him throughout the movie do that. And Luther, we got to see a glimpse of Luther's personality. We got to see a glimpse of Luther's character and who he is now in this world, which is a ruthless, selfless person who has given his entire life to his job. And this is where he is, where he wants to give his entire life to his job, and he doesn't want to change that, which is fine. There are people who are like that, but it makes him a very interesting and very different character from the rest that we see in detective TV shows, and that's why I love it. So that's that when it comes to Luther. Honestly, I give it a 10 out of 10. I love that Luther movie. In fact, I would watch it again. I watched it in theaters. I know it's coming out on Netflix on March 3rd. I know you guys are seeing this video before then, but it is a very, 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 very good, very, very good show. So I highly, highly recommend that you guys go watch that. The next thing I do want to talk about is The Perfect Match. So I really don't like dating shows. The Perfect Match is a TV show on Netflix. In fact, I'm actually going to pull it up for you guys and show you guys. And it is basically a bunch of people who have been on other Netflix dating shows on the platform who are now looking for love. And I'm putting that in air quotes because I'm going to talk about that. So, looking for love. And I would say The Perfect Match does do a really good job at diversifying its cast. Okay, so this is The Perfect Match. You guys should be aware of what that is. Is it focusing? Okay, it should focus. So that's The Perfect Match, and it's the producers of Netflix, the producers at Netflix bring up and hire, because they are hiring people at this point. I think it's about $1,000 a week to put these people out on an island, but I'm sure people like Francesca and others have probably got a bigger payout. So they get all of these veteran contestants who may or may not be single, because what I heard is, and what I've read is, they definitely were approached when they were in a relationship. Take that as much as you will. We'll talk about that in the podcast. But they were approached and they were put on this island. I think it was Panama. I think it's Panama City that they're in. And they're here looking for love. But the thing is, for you to continue to be in the show, you need to be matched up in a couple. You may not be in love with that couple, like that couple, but you need to be matched up by the end of the night. So you have all these type of veterans from other different dating shows on Netflix. And what I'm going to congratulate when it comes to the creators of the show and also the producers, they did a really extremely good job of casting. And the people that they casted, I would never have thought would be in one room together. I had no idea Zay would be here. I had no idea Francesca and Damien would be here. I had no idea that all these people would be in here, and I'm happy that they did, including the girls from Selling Tampa, the black girls from Selling Tampa. Because honestly, I think those black girls are better left looking elsewhere. There's nobody here for them. Nobody. I'm telling you right now, even if you watch it or not, obviously this is obviously a massive spoiler alert. There's nobody here for those girls on Selling Tampa. I'm telling you guys that right now. But the reason why I like it, because they did a really good job at casting in terms of bringing out different people from all different walks of life, from real estate to personal trainer, all different types of incomes and backgrounds, all different types of races. Again, race wasn't a part of it too. And again, let me just say, it's okay if the show is about race, but I'm just saying that when it comes to diversity these days, people just think diversity just putting another person who's opposite race and not giving them any significance in that show or movie and just having them as an accessory and a token. That's what I don't like. If race is a part of the show, let the race be part of the show, let it flourish, and let that be the focal point. But in Perfect Match, I really did like it because, again, all different types of people, and it's faster. So you have Love is Blind. Love is Blind, it's a bit slower in the sense that you don't really know who the other person is. that you are matching with, but you are connecting on an emotional level, versus, let's say, Too Hot to Handle. Too Hot to Handle is where you know the person, but you can't touch the person. Same thing with Love is Blind. You can't touch them either, but until the very end. But Too Hot to Handle, you can't touch them. So you're connecting with them face to face, you know, with who they look like and everything, but you can't touch them physically. You can't kiss them. You can't hold their hand. You can't do anything like that. I kind of look at Perfect Match as that. I look at Perfect Match as a person, as a dating show that's more like speed dating. You know, you're dipping in the toes of one person and dipping the toes in the next person, dipping the toes in this, that, and the third, and just trying to figure out if you like them or not. And if you think that there's something there, either it's chemistry, either it's compatibility, or if it's both, which is in every single relationship there should be a good sense of compatibility. And there should be a good amount of chemistry. And if there is either or both, then you match with them. And then you get to go and continue on until the next day. You go and sleep next to them that night, and then you end up being in the dating show. But if you do not match with anybody, then you end up leaving the dating show, or being camped up in a different hotel or whatever, and then be brought back later by a couple who won the compatibility or chemistry challenge. So I like it because it's just like that. It really is just like a dating show, and I really like it. I love it, actually. And the thing is, the only dating shows that I watched on Netflix was Love is Blind, the very, very first season, and I watched the after show and the spinoff, Love is Blind in real life, like Love is Blind after the fact, you know what I mean? That show. Other than that, I don't really watch any of the dating shows because I'm not a Bachelor girl. Sorry, I'm not a Bachelorette girl. I do love some of the real estate shows. So I did watch Selling Tampa. I did watch Selling Sunset. Do I love Selling Sunset? I like Selling Tampa. So I'm not also a Real House, just if we're going on this reality TV show, I'm not really a big Real Housewives of whatever. Real Housewives of Potomac is good. Real Housewives of Atlanta is good. I'm not a big fan of Real Housewives of Atlanta, New York. Real Housewives of, I do want to watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I heard that's really good because there was a lot of drama. Somebody's in jail. Same thing as the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And it kind of looks a bit crazy. So, yes, that's the reason why I really like not Selling Tampa, but yeah, Selling Tampa. But that's the reason why I really, really do like Perfect Match. Yeah, Perfect Match. I'm really excited. I've watched everything so far. So I've watched from episode 1 to 8. So I'm really excited to see what episode 9 to 11. 9 to 12. I'm going to say this right now, just a sneak peek into what's going to be discussed on the podcast. I think Inez should leave the show. Okay? The next thing I do want to talk about is, I think, another show that I just figured out, and I'm actually hooked, only because I'm just looking at my phone, just pulling up the picture for you guys. It's called Will Trent. Again, these are the shows that I've watched this week. There's a lot of things that I've watched, including one I've watched today, which I'll talk about maybe next week. If this gets up to 5 likes, then I'll make this a weekly thing. If it doesn't, then I'll make this a bi-weekly thing. So I'm sure you guys have heard of it. If not, I just stumbled upon it. I stumbled upon a lot of things. Sometimes I go out of my way. I do have a list of TV shows and movies that I do watch that I want to get to, and I'll make sure I review to you guys. Some of them I try to review the most hot and poppin' and things that people are talking about. But Will Trent, this is a TV show that is on, I don't know which platform this is on particularly, but it does have 86% of Rotten Tomatoes, because I do agree it's actually quite good. I don't know which platform this is on, but I'm gonna try and read it for you guys. But it's basically a show. It's actually another detective show, just like Luther. But what makes this one really interesting is because there are characters in the show I never thought would do. There are actors in the show that I never thought they would play certain characters in the show. So, which makes it interesting to me because I want to see how far these actors would go and how good their acting is when playing these characters. And their characters are more interesting than the plot, and the way the characters solve the crimes is interesting as well. It reminds me of that TV show that was quite good with that. I don't want to assume people's ethnicity, but I think it was Sherlock Holmes spinoff or something. That one was really good because the way the Sherlock Holmes assistant or cousin or friend solved the crimes was pretty cool. Anyways, so we have Ramon Rodriguez as Will Trent. I watched his movie. He had a movie out, which was interesting. Literally about a couple months ago. He's been Lullaby, and it was not good. I didn't like it at all. So once I saw him in this TV show, I'm like, okay, good for the producer for casting this. So you have him and Will Trent. So I'm watching him because the way he plays this character is really interesting as well. He is a product and a victim of foster care in America, and he does have I don't know. I want to make sure I have the medical condition correct because I could have it wrong. I think it's dyslexia. I think he's dyslexic. I could be wrong. It's the condition. It's ABC. It's an ABC TV show. It's the condition where you have a hard time reading. So he has that going against him. But he's also a brilliant detective. He does it because he's been overlooked his entire life, but he does a really good job of reading the room, reading people. And honestly, that's a skill that I actually want to. I actually want to practice myself. Excuse me. I ate this Ethiopian food and it tasted so good. Oh my god. And the color of that is coming back up. So there's him, and apparently it's based on best-selling books on Karen Slaughter by Karen Slaughter. Anyways, the cast is also interesting. So this girl, Erica Christian, she's from Parenthood. No, I swear she's from a different TV show. But anyways, she's in this TV show and she plays basically his foster sister. And he plays her foster sister, and she has some things that she has to overcome herself. She went through a lot of, sexual abuse, trigger for anyone. And she's overcoming that, and her parents sexually abused her growing up. And I've never thought she was capable of playing such a character. She was in Parenthood, which I didn't even know. I never knew she was playing such a character, such deep, layered character in a TV show. So, and she's doing it pretty well, and it's quite interesting. And then there's other interesting characters here as well that I'm actually quite shocked about. That I really, really am happy that they're in. You have Sonia Sun. Sonia Sun. She plays the police chief. She is she's very good at it. And then you have, Lantha Richardson. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Beautiful black woman. I love her so much. She plays his partner. And him, Ramon Rodriguez, he is Trent. I'm going to show you guys his pictures. And he plays, that's him. Very good looking guy. But honestly, didn't think he was capable of playing this role. So I really like this because it's a different detective show because, yes, they solve a crime in each and every episode. But the detectives are diverse in background and in race, yes. but their background and experiences give to you a very interesting banter and makes it really entertaining and funny. You know what I mean? So I like it. I've been keeping on, I've been binging, and I'm looking forward to the next season. Oops, sorry about that. I look forward to the next episode each and every week. I really, really, really do love it. And yeah, those are the shows that I've been watching that I've liked this week. There are a lot more that I've watched. So check out the pod. We binged it with my friend PK, where we'll talk about more and go deeper into Perfect Match because she's really into that, and other shows as well. So hopefully you guys like this glimpse of a podcast situation. I really love doing this, and I really love talking to you guys. So hopefully I was able to get a glimpse of what I mean when I meant that production companies nowadays need to be diverse. But that diversity to what end? Like, you have to be diverse, obviously. Like, we live in a diverse society, not only in race, but experiences. But don't use that race and those experiences as a token and accessory in a TV show. They have to make a significant part of the TV show or movie. Okay? And in addition to that, they have to highlight those voices. So you can't just say, oh, we have a black assistant, that's it. No, it's diverse. It's not. It's not. You just have a black assistant. That's it. So, anyways, I love this so much. It's so much fun. Please do like and subscribe. I would really, really, really appreciate it if you subscribed. Stay woke and stay healthy and stay safe. And I'll see you guys tomorrow with another review.